And good afternoon. My name is Ryan Belmore. I'm the owner and publisher of What's Up Noop. It is Tuesday, June 27th, just past 1 o'clock. Mr. Frank Prosnich joins me, as well as Newport School Superintendent Colleen Jermain. School is out. First day out, right?
First day. Yes, first day.
How
Summer
exciting.
Vacation starts.
You've been to the beach?
Not yet. No, not yet.
Excellent. I always start somewhere random. When does a school superintendent take their vacation? Is it during the summer?
No, actually, this is one of my busiest time of year. People are fascinated. Starting around March 1st, April 1st, that's all the way through the end of September, mid-October is the busiest time of year. You're in the middle of budget, layoffs, negotiations, hiring, planning for the next year, retreats with your leadership team. There's a lot going on. And then you have the opening of school, making sure you're getting your messaging out, staying on target, and just getting off on the right foot as far as every day. So you have that consistency in the district. So not until about mid-October, November is sometimes a good time to take a break. But, I'll take them here and there.
Well, the teachers kind of get the summer off. It's not as easy and elaborate as that, but principals as well as your vacations are probably a little bit more difficult to plan.
They are. They're more staggered. The principals, most of the time, all of us try to take at least a week during the summer, when and if possible. And then for the teachers, even some of the teachers that we have teachers in our summer programs that are doing tutoring or helping us with we have ramp up programs going on this summer, and that'll start as early as August 7th, August 14th, and then we go right into school. So they're literally, some of them are today first day on the job for their summer jobs, because a lot of teachers still do take summer jobs, whether it's working for the school system, whether it's working for one of our local industries in the hospitality or the restaurants. Everyone's pretty busy. We've got full schedules.
And as we know, the summer goes by really, really quick.
It does. And we've got some already in coursework. They were already starting some of their coursework, some as early as yesterday afternoon. They were leaving for some of their courses, just to ramp up on their certifications and skills. So,
wow. Frank, did you have anything, or are we all set?
No, I thank Colleen. Thank you for being with us today.
You're welcome.
I was just wondering if you might take a look back at the year and do a quick review of how you think you did this year, whether we're catching up from the pandemic with some of the kids, and perhaps what you see as your biggest challenges as you head into the next year.
Sorry. Okay, so the first one is we're still a work in progress as far as building up capacity for our students and student growth and student achievement. This was the first year we started school without masks, and we still are addressing, I'll say, some of the school rules and school behaviors that some of our younger students are not used to. So we're trying to get them a little bit more school ready and used to being in a school environment. It was, I would say, a better year as far as behaviors and as far as just attendance in general for our children and for our families. Staffing was at the beginning in late August, September. We did not think we had an issue or challenge in staffing, and then we found out we did. We found that those that did accept positions had the luxury of accepting the similar positions in nearby their own neighborhoods, their own communities. So we did have some staffing that was very challenging, and that in the math and science areas. We've already, I believe at this point, we've secured our high school math and we have our middle school math. We do have applicants in there, and we're going through the interview process now. In the past 2 weeks, before school even was let out, we were already doing our interviews, and we have some shifting within the district with some of our teachers. And then we have some people from the outside that are coming in. So we're very excited about that. Middle school principal, that's going to be one of our toughest things over the summer. The posting is out. I did meet with the Thompson staff this past Thursday. We had a great conversation, listening to each other, hearing what their thoughts were about a future leader for the school. And then also, I did put out there, if we're not successful, if we don't find someone this summer, because we don't want to rush it. It's a very, very important position. If we don't find someone, what are some of your thoughts on what we should do, what we should have in place? And I get some creative ideas. One was, let each staff member be a principal for 2 weeks and see what it's like. I thought that was interesting.
That'd be kind of fun.
Yeah. Then another one was a few of them, I don't know if they like me or don't like me. They wanted the superintendent to come up and run the school for the year. And I was like, that's interesting. Then we have been very fortunate. We had Dr. Power, who knows the district very well. He worked with Assistant Principal Baccarat and Beth Rappa, who's not an administrator, but she's in a semi-administrative role, MTSS, multi-tiered support system, helping with behaviors and achievement. Those three, they did a nice job. But we definitely all agreed it's a very important role. We don't want to rush it, but we do have some good candidates in the pool right now. So I'll be speaking with my committee and speaking with my parent groups about how to move forward on that. So the middle school principal, definitely a challenge. That will be on the top of our list this summer. We have to have a new calendar. That's just a little, I'll call it nuts and bolts thing we have to do now that Juneteenth is an official state holiday that was actually scheduled to be our last day of school. We're going to take a look at that. And then we also have a primary, presidential primary. I think they've decided that's going to be in early April. So we have to make some adjustments for the calendar for next year. The school building project is still in the top 3. We're anxious to keep that on schedule. We're anxious to avoid any delays in that. We're hoping right now tentative arrival of steel is October 2nd. We're hoping that will be sooner. The concrete foundations and the forms are all in place right now. We also have the dirt pile in the back. Out of respect to our neighbors, we're addressing that and looking at that. We're actually looking into putting down some matting on that to keep it covered, because there was a fear factor about soil blowing and all that. Even though we have DEM, we have monitor out there to register if there's anything happening. But again, we're going to take all precautions. We're going to put as much, we'll do more than we have. We'll be very proactive in making sure that our neighbors know we're taking every precaution. We're doing everything possible as far as addressing that dirt pile. We did have Tim Thies from Power Corporation come forward, as well as the Department of Environmental Management, DEM. The pile is typical, pretty typical. Arsenic high levels of arsenic are throughout Aquidneck Island, and we're not any unusual than we have been in other building projects we've had. As a matter of fact, the Pell one is an example. And I even brought up at last night's school building committee meeting, we've had the bridge realignment. So we've had a lot of digging. We've had dirt piles over there as well. It's something you just can't avoid on Aquidneck Island, but we're going to take all the precautions necessary to make sure we address their concerns with the dirt pile. And then we have the transformer, that lovely transformer, which Rhode Island Energy insists that the school department must purchase, and we must maintain the transformer, which is very confusing because we are not in the electricity business. And I have been pushing the topic as far as I know, having spoken to construction agencies, spoken to others in the state of Massachusetts and Rhode Island, no other school district is being asked to purchase their own transformer and maintain it. And plus, at the same time, have a backup. So we have a lot of questions on that.
How
What's that?
costly is that?
How costly is that?
Yeah.
I don't know the dollar amount. I do know in FF&E we have anyways. We have the purchase of a transformer over there on the side. But I think going forward, the maintenance, the liability and whatnot, it's a much bigger discussion, and I'm sure more dollar amount that all of us are going to have to consider, meaning all of us, including the school department and the city. So it seems to be the challenge is the substation on the Harrison Avenue, off of Harrison Avenue, is only a 4V, and it's not big enough to handle the electricity the new high school needs. So I'm just curious how they're meeting other high school needs across the state. So that's a bigger conversation that's going forward. We're anxiously waiting from Rhode Island Energy, something on their letterhead explaining very clearly why they are not able to support our electric needs. And we'll see what happens from there.
Colleen, you mentioned that Newport is the only one that's being asked to pay for this transformer. Have other or are other school districts that are facing building projects, some of them very large, are they apt to, or are they potentially facing that same issue?
I don't know if it's about, so purchasing the transformer, I misspoke if it's purchasing the transformer is something that some are being asked to do. So in your building projects, you do put something in your FF&E just in case. It's the maintenance and owning it. We will be the primary meter. So the school department will be the ones feeding the high school the electricity. So we're going to become our own little electric company the way it is. And we've never heard of such a thing. I can't make this up. And so we keep saying, why? And then there is, I think there was an option if we looked at a different design and with smaller transformers. And the problem with that is it requires a total redesign of the high school. And that's not an option, with the costs and everything else. So we'll be having lots of discussions regarding a transformer and things I never thought I'd have to think about, but
Look at
transformer and electricity feeds.
You had mentioned the calendar in the April presidential primary. Just thinking about the Congressional District 1 primary in November, will that do you also have to adjust, or are we not going to use the school or schools for the election in November? Or was that already planned for?
That's already planned for.
Okay.
That one was already planned for. That one we were aware of. So we did put that one in the calendar. So we'll take a look at that and, make the adjustments. I don't think it shouldn't be something that impacts families a lot. It's just literally, we'll literally probably be getting out of school around the same time we are now, because Newport is one of a few districts that always start school after Labor Day. So we don't go in August. We go in right after Labor Day. I believe Middletown is one of the other two that do this. So,
excellent, Frank.
The RIDE had put out its report card on on all the school districts.
mm-hmm.
How are we doing at addressing some of those areas that they saw? Newport did not fare well on a lot of the areas, and I presume it's for a lot of different reasons. How are those areas being addressed, and what's the outlook?
So we have purchased new curriculum, and that implementation usually takes 1 to 2 years. We just finished up the first year, I think, and one of them at the middle school level, I think, and then the other and at the high school. So we'll be going into our second and third year of implementation of new curriculum in the areas of ELA and math. We have a professional development schedule for our teachers to learn the curriculum and to be able to implement it with fidelity. We also are doing ramp-up programs during the summer, which we have not done before in the areas of algebra and math for our high school students. We also are looking at a strategic plan that's focused purely on the I'll say science of reading as far as in the early literacy. And then we're looking at, in the math area, certain levels in the algebra level. I'll say that, algebra level. The other thing we're doing is we are being very aggressive as far as participating in the Governor's 365 initiative. We are part of a collaborative, a group of community partners that will be submitting a proposal for the grant. And we will be doing a collaboration with our Newport Public Schools and with our community partners that not only extends through the summertime, which we do with the R3 program, but we will be doing that during the school year as well. So the connection and the collaboration between teachers from the, I'll say from the 8 to 2, the 7 to 2, or the 8 to 3 period will also extend over with our partners. So there'll be communication as far as the work and how our children are doing in school academically. So we are focusing on that more, I'm going to say more deeply, with structured initiatives with, right now it's going to be bi-weekly check-ins to see if there's any progress being made. The unfortunate part is for this grant application, it's only from January through June. It's only for about 6 months. So, and it's also before we start to get ready for the RICAS testing, which is in April. So we'll have a couple of months of it, but we are focusing also on the summertime as far as how we handle it as well. So we're trying to bridge a continuum of what we're doing. And then hopefully if we're successful getting the grant money in December, January, we'll continue that throughout the school year.
Speaking of continuum, I want to make sure I brought up this program, and I just thought about it, so I ran and got the information from my other computer. But the summer food service program that continues with Newport Public Schools throughout the summer. So any child or student who is enrolled, Newport Public Schools continues to provide free meals to children throughout the summer through various programs. And I am going to drop the link here in our comments in case anybody's looking for the info, because there's a lot of info there. But if you've been getting, if you are SNAP or your student is SNAP or Rhode Island Works Assistance households, you're eligible for the all summer. Did I get that kind of together?
Yes. You don't have to be a Newport Public School student either.
Oh, okay.
Any children between the ages of 3 and 18 can stop by any of the summer meals programs, and you're eligible for a summer meal. So it's a great way to make sure our students are getting healthy choices. And the schedule I have not seen yet. We usually post that, but usually we have a kickoff, which probably is going to be happening in the very near future over at my Antonomy Park. And then what happens is we go throughout different park systems throughout the year, usually Morton Park, King Park, Aquidneck Park. Those have been some of the ones lately that we've been, offering the services at.
Colleen, talking about food program, were you disappointed that the legislature did not approve free lunch for all students?
Yes, but yes, and I understand because of the funding, how it's going to be sustained going forward. I do think it's important that all children, everyone shouldn't have to worry about where their next meal comes from. And in order to learn, and you have to have food. You can't learn if you're hungry. So it was disappointing. It didn't go through. But again, we're very fortunate here in Newport where we have a lot of community partners, MLK. We have EBCAP that help us in these areas during non-school hours as well as during school hours. So we do have programs that go over this summer and throughout the school year. Sorry, I'm getting pinged left and
it's
right.
Okay.
These little messages are popping up on my screen.
They're all over all of our screens probably, but I think many may not realize or who are just busy with their own lives don't realize that a lot of the times the only meal a child might get is at school. And how much, when it comes to spring vacation, whatever vacation it is, that all of a sudden the void in their life is food because because school is closed. So it's just amazing. I don't think people understand how important these programs are.
When I first started as superintendent, I met with one of the high school teams here, kids, one of the classes, and they said, so what's the most difficult thing about your job? And I've said it to you as well. I said, snow days. Snow days are the worst, and they're saying, oh, and I say, because you have to think of safety. But when that decision is made, I realize that some children may not eat that day. So again, with the help of community partners, we have been very fortunate that we do have people go out and they bring food out to some of our families. And in the summertime, we have the programs, and during our vacation weeks, we have that as well. So when we send them home for the 1 week vacations or the holidays, we always make sure we send weekend bags and whatnot, and then we have a number they can call for more. So, but you are correct. And the high school students were really surprised. They were like, what? And I said, yeah. They said, when we don't have school, some people don't eat. So
yeah, it's but like you said, Newport has so many great community partners. And I'm just looking at, if children are enrolled in Team Fame or Pell Summer Learning Academy or Thompson or Pell School Extended School Year, whatever it may be, all of these programs, and the link is there. Let's see here. Let's get Frank back up. Hey, Frank.
Hey, Frank. Oh no, I'm Frank. I get this confused all the time. Colleen, I want to jump back to Rogers.
Okay.
What's the latest on costs and cost overruns?
Well, right now we're within budget. It's the projected costs, and because we have not awarded all the bids, I'll say, and the proposals. I think we're in tier 3 of that. We'll have a better understanding as our OPM downs mentioned in August or September. Everyone is trying to work their best with each other to hopefully get a number in September at the latest. And then we will be sitting down with the city council and we'll be going over the numbers and taking a look at where we're at. We don't have any hard numbers right now. Right now, as was mentioned at last night's school building committee meeting, everything and anything that has been awarded is in the budget and it's budgeted. So we're on track, but we also know we're seeing estimates come in. For instance, masonry, that's a good one. Masonry at the 60% construction design estimate was scheduled to come in for about 3 million plus. After 2 to 3 or 2 to 4 bids came in, the lowest bid was 5 million. So right there, you're starting to see, that's just one example of what's been happening. Gilbane gives us these 60% estimates, and it's not like it hasn't been a long time ago. We're probably February maybe or March. And now that the rubber's hitting the road and we're going out there and we're getting the bids and they're coming back, unfortunately, more than not are coming in higher than what the estimates were when we did the 60% CD estimate.
I think last time you projected the possibility of having to go out for another bond issue. Is that correct? And is that a possibility?
At last night's meeting, we did discuss filling out an additional stage 1 application. And for the people in the audience, what that means, it doesn't commit to anything, but it's a planning document. And what it would entail is looking at some of the things maybe we did not or were not able to afford in this round, such as the automotive and cosmetology, as well as the field and track. And so we would put that estimate together. And the plan as of last night's meeting was to get a draft together for at the very latest, the beginning of August, because then we would have to go before the city council to share that with them to see if they agree and they're okay with us going forward. after the school building committee approves it. And then from there, by September 15th, we would submit the application. And then from there, see what happens. Like I said, it's a busy time of year.
No guesstimate on how much that would be?
Not at this time. We haven't even finalized what we would put in it. So those discussions will be happening in the next couple of weeks.
Colleen, this is kind of new, and I don't normally try to do this. I usually try to, but there's a new resolution that was put on the city council docket for tomorrow night.
Yes.
And it was added after the initial agenda docket came out. And it's from Councilor David Carlin, who was formerly a Newport School Committee member. Pretty much the resolution. I know some of these are pretty long and lengthy. If approved by the majority of city councilors, would allow the city manager not to exceed $2 million to remove pretty much the dirt, the soil that is at Rogers. Remove it. It would block any further dumping there, and then it would have the city manager and city staff come up with what the cost is, the bill is, and then charge back the school department for that amount. Any thoughts on all of that? That is a very quick of a 2-page resolution.
All right.
But just wondering, does the soil have to be removed?
No, according to DM, no. But again, going back to why we're even putting a mat on it is to help to reassure the neighbors that we're doing everything possible to try to allay their concerns and fears. We have, as I said, we've done our due diligence as well because of the neighbors' concerns and whatnot. We've already done an estimate on removal, and it's $4.1 million to remove it. And then we would also need some of that soil we've removed from the campus. We would need to bring soil back onto the campus to fill the big holes once our demolition happens with the old school. So the plan has always been to take that soil as much of it as possible and use it on the campus to fill the holes that will be in place once we knock down the buildings we're in right now. And then from there, put on 2 feet of soil, clean soil, so that no one has to worry about contamination or whatnot, and just follow the DEM parameters and rules. So that's what we would do.
So I'm going to summarize in my own, this is not what you said, but if this resolution was passed, this would just put the school project in a bigger hole, not to be punny, than it already is.
That is correct. Financially, absolutely. We'd be spending at least a minimum of $4.1 million. And then we would have to buy soil, buy dirt to bring it back to fill the holes we have. So that's something we need to have a discussion about. I am aware of the resolution. I did see it. I did share it with our engineers, our civil engineers, our environmental engineers. I did share it with our partner. I will be attending the meeting tomorrow night. I've been asked to attend in case there are any questions. And I understand the counselor's intent, believe me, but I do think there may be some other solutions we can put into place that may benefit everyone and be a win-win for everyone.
Colleen,
I the resolution in the comments if anybody wants to read it. So go ahead, Frank.
I wanted to circle back to staffing.
Mm-hmm.
The NEA and some others are projecting significant losses in the teaching profession this coming year. The National Education Association, I think, it projected as many or more than half of the current teachers are contemplating leaving the profession. And I'm presuming some of that is regionally. And so I would suspect we don't feel that as much. But as you look out, and I'm going to throw bus drivers in this as well, what are your major concerns, other than the principal's job? What are your major concerns about positions that you need to fill by the fall?
I'm going to go back to my science, math, and special education. Those are the three that, those are the three that seem to always be a challenge to fill. And as I said, today, we're in good shape. Hoping that when we open school, we will be as well. And people, when they commit to taking a position, stay with that commitment. I think the retirements are not a surprise. I will say, I think 5 or 10 years ago, they were doing these projections because of baby boomers about, and all of the above, the aging of America, et cetera. And we have that gap where we have fewer, I'll just say, we have a fewer in certain age demographics that are making it difficult to fill positions. We are also having fewer people go into the profession of teaching. That if you have a conversation with Rhode Island College or any other teacher preparatory institutions, it is a challenge to get people to go into teaching. The salary is not that great. And, granted, if you're into summers off, you're good. But in the long run, it's a real commitment. People, I would say 90% of people do not go into education for money. They go in for a purpose. They go in for commitment. They want to make a difference. Someone made a difference in their life, and they want to give back. So the most powerful teachers are those with the strongest relationships, and the children and young people can feel that commitment. And, it's tough to get. And I'm hoping that in the coming years, we have more that want to get into the profession. That is why in a district, we are working with different institutions. We're working with Salve Regina. We're working with Roger Williams. We're working with the Equity Institute. We're working with Big Picture to try to, first and foremost, get children from our own community to want to be teachers, to want to come back and give back to the community. And then also we have people in our schools that are teacher assistants, paraprofessionals that may not have had the opportunity to get that full degree. And that's why we're offering that as well as part of being in the Newport Public Schools. So we're trying to grow our own. We're trying to grow our own. We're trying every which way we can to try to really keep Newport a community, and a community that works in our schools and outside our schools through collaborations and partnerships.
Besides teachers, what's the projection for bus drivers?
Well, bus drivers, I don't personally. The school district hires a bus company. And then we've been fortunate with Ocean State and Tony Murgo. He's been doing a great job for Newport. And he also does the Middletown schools. And we've been able to do partnerships with Middletown and, share busing, share costs and things like that. So right now, I haven't heard anything. We have a new bus depot over on Connell Highway. We had to move because of the bridge realignment, but that's going well. And we're just keeping our fingers crossed that everything continues going well with the bus drivers.
Colleen, I know we're up against the clock here, but what did we miss, or did you have any grand old news or great news that we haven't already covered today?
We're on summer break. We have lots of fantastic summer programs going on with Boys and Girls Club, EBCAP, Team Fame. You mentioned a few of them already. And as you mentioned, we have some of our students on their way to Washington, D.C., the Pathways group with Salve. I got some pictures early this morning. They're on the bus. They're on their way to D.C. And these young people are going to get the opportunity to see the Capitol, see Washington, D.C., and also to get to go see some local universities and colleges in the D.C. area. And we're so appreciative of Salve's partnership with Fab Newport. That's all about community. That's community right there. And another thing you'll be hearing very soon, for the past year, I've been working with Middletown and Salve Regina, and through the support of the Van Buren Foundation. And we've been doing an analysis and study on facilities for athletes and shared different opportunities. We can share facilities and what we can do to make it better for our athletes and just our community events. So we're going to be coming out with a campaign pretty soon on that. And I will be coming out with a campaign in August for our families to understand the importance of middle school course selection, the math and the reading, and how it all starts in middle school for those high school opportunities. So there's a lot going on.
So then we'll have a lot to talk about later this fall.
We will.
Well, or this fall. It's only summer. It just began.
It's it's only 8-10 weeks, then we're done.
Yes.
Goes
Excellent.
quickly.
And I'll just make a quick note about the Pathways program. I will be with them for a couple events over the next couple days while they're in DC. So if people, there will be photos. I'm not sure if we'll publish them or we'll just share them. We'll work that out. But this is a great program, and it's all about first-generation students who are getting to. I can't wait to talk to them later today about it. Getting to see the Capitol, getting to see the White House. Most likely, maybe for the first time. For many, I imagine it will be the first time, but I'm going to have the chance to go to the Capitol with them, as well as the Senator Reid's office, a couple college campuses. It's really exciting to see the opportunity and see how they take it all in. So
yeah.
You're also going to see your kitchen, right?
They are. I didn't mention that, but they are also going to see my house. So my wife and I will be hosting them for dinner tonight.
Thank you, Ryan. That's wonderful. Thank you.
Give them a little bit of a home feeling before they get out into big old DC. That can be overwhelming sometimes, or a lot of the times. So we're looking forward to it. So next time we talk to you, it will be midsummer. So we'll have we'll be getting ready for back to school.
We will. Yeah, no. It's exciting.
Frank,
No, I guess maybe let me just the obligatory question about a merger with Middletown. I presume nothing is going on at the moment as Middletown tries to deal with its own referendum.
Yes, no, we haven't furthered any discussions since then. I think for Superintendent Krager and I think, we can do stuff in the background, such as sharing the facilities and working with Salve as well. And we'll just keep marching on and doing our best to keep collaborating with each other to do what's best for kids.
Awesome. And Superintendent, did you have anything else that we might have missed or that you wanted to get out there?
I just want to say thank you, Ryan and Frank. It's always fun. This is a nice little break in my day when I can come and have a chat with you. And I just want to thank all the community people for supporting Newport Public Schools and all its initiatives. And you are, Ryan and Frank, you're perfect examples of how it takes all of us. We're a community. And gosh, thank you so much. I didn't know if you wanted it public about you hosting dinner tonight, but appreciate it so much.
I figured it was going to get out there eventually.
Yeah. And why not announce it here, right?
Yes. Well, I really wanted to share it that I'd be meeting up with the students, and I will be taking as many photos as possible for other for the families to see, for other students to see, as well as anyone who might be interested in the program.
Absolutely.
There's lots of great opportunities. I believe they select 15 students a year.
12
and
to
it's
15
a partnership
students.
between Salve and Rogers.
And Rogers, yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent.
We're very lucky.
All right.
Okay.
Well, thank you.
Colleen,
We'll
thank you.
Thank you. Have a
All
great
right.
afternoon. Happy summer.
Happy summer. That is Newport School Superintendent Colleen Jermain, and we appreciate her joining us for our monthly chat, Frank.
Oh, indeed. And she's always forthright with her answers. We gives people a good idea of what how she views the past year and how she sees the challenges ahead.
And she will join us next on Wednesday, July 26th at 1:30 p.m. And I'll just make a note while people are still watching. July, we're going to kick off all of our Congressional District 1 interviews, as you may have read in my newsletter this morning. We don't want to waste your time. We don't want to waste our time. We don't want to waste candidates' time. So we're waiting for candidates to declare, which they have the 29th and 30th, to get all the signatures they need. and then to get everything in line to get put on a ballot. Once the ballot is out on July 19th, or the ballot is formed on July 19th, and we know these candidates are really, really serious, and they're going to actually possibly waste your time by being on the ballot and not in the race. That's when we're going to start interviews. So we start interviews with Congressional District 1 candidates on July 20th, and we already have Aaron Regenberg, Sandra Cano, and Sabina Matos lined up. We've reached out to all 452 candidates, and we hope that they join us. So there's like 15, 17 candidates, to be honest.
17, I think, was the last count.
Yeah. So we've reached out to all of them. If you are a candidate, you're watching, you haven't heard from us, reach out to me, Ryan@whatsupnoop.com. We'll get you the link. Frank, anything else today?
No. We look forward to those interviews, and we look forward to a great summer.
That's it. All right, my friend. Well, thanks for joining me, and we'll talk to you soon. All right. On behalf of Frank Prosnitz, all of us here at What's Up Noop, I want to thank Newport School Superintendent Colleen Burns Jermain for joining us. If you missed any portion of this conversation, if you want to share it, if you want to listen to it, all available on whatsupnoop.com, as well as all of those links that we shared, the links for the summer food service program and the links for the resolution that is coming up tomorrow night at Newport City Council. Thanks for watching.